musical or the band.
It's not the musical or the band. John, we're back. What's today's show?
Today's show is about culture. And I love this because
I've got it in spades.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
We'll see.
It was interesting. I like doing topics, as you know, with what I'm actually doing with my clients currently. So today, I've had this conversation.
Yep.
So I'm walking out the door, working with a new business, and they said to me, the CEO and the COO said, we need to communicate our culture. And I just love it when they know they've rapidly grown, but if they're not careful, they'll be so far ahead and there'll be this gap, the culture gap, which is what we often do in business. Is we know it, we feel it, we live it, we breathe it, we wake up in the morning with it. It's exciting us, it reminds us, we talk about it in a sense in our own dreams and in our own self, but we never tell anybody else, which is what these guys have done.
Here's a question for you, and it came in. I think it was for next week's show, but anyway,
all right, okay.
I'll steal it.
Yeah, steal it now. That's all good.
I'll steal it and put it forward. What's more important, culture or strategy? Because you love both.
I don't like ors. Okay, in business.
Yes.
I think it's not an or.
Yeah.
Both are really powerful, but what we've got to do is understand where they fit and how we're going to use them to actually enhance our business. So you need culture, you need strategy, you need finance, you need staff. There's lots of things that make up the very dynamic of a business.
John, when you look at business and you get involved with a lot of them, do you find business owners, because a lot of us come from our background, our trades, do you find they find it more comfortable dealing with strategy because that's something nuts and boltsy stuff?
Yes, yeah,
and
that's
it's
correct.
a culture where they get a little bit, they know it internally,
Yeah.
but they can't express it externally?
I think that the dynamic here is strategy can be very organizational and very cold.
Right.
We've got the articulation, we've got the SMART goals, etc. Culture gives heart.
Right.
So when we've got those both working, rather than it being my bicycle and frog analogy,
Yes.
so I want businesses to be an organism, not an organization, because when we know we cut the leg off a frog, it's going to die. Take a wheel off a bike, you can still ride it. You just got to tip it up on the one. Where you go, you can still do that. So this is the dynamic of culture. It brings heart that the business owner, leader, visionary, entrepreneur has, and translates that through the strategy, and we're going to talk about some of the dynamics in a minute, through that into the very, what the business is actually going to do. But what often businesses owners do is they keep it to themselves. They know the culture setting, and they haven't, and this is exactly what this CEO and this CEO said, we need to communicate.
Was that their challenge? That it was, how do we communicate this, John? Can you help us get it out of us?
No, they know it.
They know it?
They know it, and they know they need to communicate it.
Right.
And the good thing is just been on a leadership course, so it's really kind of rocked his boat and challenged him, and I reinforced that.
Yeah.
And I then said to him, I said, the power of what it will do is this. If you get it, you communicate that to your team. Your team get it, communicate that to your clients. Your clients get it and start communicating it back to you. You've got that really Butte cycle going on. Butte is an Aussie word.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's a Butte cycle that goes on, and it really enhances and gives heart to all the dynamics and all the flows and interactions that make up a really good business that's not just an organization, but it's an organism.
You know, when we do strategy, and we've done a lot, and you talk a lot about strategy, and it's got components within it. Does culture have components in it? A framework?
Oh, absolutely, it does. It's, it's sometimes culture can be one of those things that, it's a little bit ethereal. It's like the cloud in the sky. You can see it, you can fly through it. If you had a balloon, you could, you could touch it and it would be wet.
Yeah.
But there's nothing really to grab hold of. Sometimes we don't define culture well enough, so it's engaged and it's enhanced and it's part of the very fabric of what we are, and we can feel it's wet.
Right.
And that's what we want to do within the business, is we want to get that so it's part of what's going on, and it's no longer kind of out there. We've really made it tangible and something we really can engage with. And that's the dynamic of what most people have, this is where I want to help the business feel. This is what I want my clients to know about me. This is what I value, what I want them to experience when they engage with us. And they're all the dynamics of cultural setting.
So, and you used an interesting word there, and it's experience. We've talked about this before, about the customer's experience. It's beyond just the concrete, what they're expecting. There's a different, I hate to use it, it's that Aussie movie, it's the vibe. But I don't want to,
yeah, absolutely.
but it's a vibe to it, isn't
and
it?
I think the millennials get that right. They understand the vibe about things. And they feel it better. I think Australians are great in the way we engage with people. It's often about that feeling of engagement.
Yes.
We get it. We can read people really well.
Yep.
We want authenticity, you know, as Aussies. That really rings our bell, and we know if people are genuine.
And I was going to say, we can tell. I mean, we go down to our favourite computer shop in the city with the blue shirts, and you can tell everyone in there loves working in there and being in there.
Yeah.
And there's this whole emotion when you go in there, isn't
Absolutely. Absolutely. The blue shirt one, we know absolutely works.
And so is that part of the culture that's embedded into them?
Yeah, they've transferred that in the business, through the business.
Yeah.
And when you walk in that door, you engage, you know what's going to take place.
Yeah.
And you feel looked after.
Yeah.
I hate going into businesses and they look at you and they carry on. So I've recently been shopping for furniture for my new house. I went into a bedding shop.
Yeah.
There was 2 staff at the counter. My wife and I walked in.
Yeah.
What did they do? Hello?
Yeah.
And then ignored us. So the boss had to come from the back down there and say, hey, there's some clients here. Can you look after them, please? She did it really well. But mate, we didn't stay there very long at all.
No.
It was not a good experience. The cultural setting is, I probably need to go back to her and say, look, I'm a business coach. Yeah. Let me help you with the culture that you were missing, because these guys were and and having a good time. But hey, it's not about your good time, it's about my good time.
Yeah.
And that's what I want. And the power of getting the culture right, and that's what we want to help you with today, and give you some insights to stir that up and begin to wrestle with it and make the decision. I need to make sure, not only do I need to own my own culture, but how am I really communicating that, and do I understand the dynamics that go with that?
Now, you said the 2 gentlemen you're dealing with contacted you. Did they do it through your email, John? How do you get in contact with them? And how does someone watching now go, hold on, how do I contact you?
Yeah. So it has been an email conversation.
Yeah.
And so to get in contact with me, it's john@pconsultancy.com.au. Please do that, because we want to have a conversation together, and I know I can help you.
And I think continue the conversation here, because they can put the
comments below, and we want you to do that.
And really engage and open this up.
And the other thing we want them to do is subscribe, don't we?
If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe, and the magic bell.
And the magic bell helps you stay informed. It will continue to push things for you and to help you stay engaged and developing as a business owner and business leader. And we're going to keep working on that with you. And it's great to be able to share with you once again. Thank you so much.